This is the Wibble deck, now relaunched as the L deck from Stuff by Bez. There are many different games you can play with it. Here's one of them. Categorickell is a tug-of-war game for 2 players or 2 teams. You have a row of 5 cards, and one team is trying to get to this end, while the other team is trying to get to that end. The way they do this is to race to shout out things beginning with either of the letters on the current card. For example, with the first card, here in the middle, it would have to be something that starts with an R or an M. The thing you shout out has to be in a certain category, which you've decided before you start. For example, let's say that for this game the category we decided to play is animals. So, if Team A, on the left, manages to shout out Rhino before the other team shouts an answer, Rhino is an acceptable answer because it fits in the category and it starts with one of these letters. So they now have to do 3 things. They move it closer to their end of the row. They have to flip, cover, clap. Flip the next card towards them. Cover the old card with a new one from the deck, and then clap to mark that they've finished. Team A cannot shout out any answers until they've done all of these things. So Team B have a slight advantage on this card because they can shout out something as soon as it's flipped. If Team B do shout out the next answer, they would move it back towards their end. Flip, cover, clap. During a game, any answer can only be used once. So, because someone already said Rhino, that can't be used again for this card, you'll have to shout out Rabbit or Duck. If it ever happens that both teams shout an answer at the same time, it gets to whichever team doesn't win the previous card. So you could have a bit of back and forth, but eventually one team will manage to get the card to their end of the row, and then if they manage to shout out an answer for this card, they will score a point. So what they do now is flip this card, so it goes back to the middle, take this card and put it in front of them as a point, cover that space, and then clap. Again, Team A can shout out an answer as soon as that card is flipped, but Team B have to finish everything as quickly as possible and clap before they can shout out another answer. The game ends when there are no more cards left in the deck to cover the old card. So the last answer is given, next card is flipped, no cards left to cover that card, game over. At that point, you see who has the most points, and that team wins. If it happened that both teams had the same number of points, you would then look at the cards in the middle. These 2 cards which are face up are closer to that end, so that team would win in a tiebreak. And that's the rules. It takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes to play through, and then you can just choose another category and play again. You can have basic categories like animals or food or places, maybe even meta categories like 4-syllable words, or instead of shouting out a word beginning with either letter, you could have to shout out a word containing neither letter on the card. Whatever you like. Try it out.